But first, could you help everybody out and give us a little bit of a civics lesson and tell us what an Alabama state senator does?
Well, that's a very good question, and I have people ask me that question on a regular basis. Mainly the state senator, my position, I represent 150,000 people, and it is a specific district. My district includes Lawrence County, Cullman County, Winston County, and Marion County. Some districts are smaller geographically, but because I've got the Bankhead Forest and I'm a very rural district, my district is bigger than most. One of the senators in Madison has a very small geographic district. There's two different parts of the legislature. There's the Senate and there's the House. In the Senate, we are the debating body. We are the body that is supposed to talk over and discuss and have unlimited debate on bills that come before us. In the House, they're not as liberal with that debate rule. And so the two houses, we have to do one thing in the Senate, then we have to send it to the House, and they have to do the same thing, and vice versa. They do something, they've got to send it to us. And both houses have to pass the bill and before it's sent to the governor.
And so that's ultimately how it happens. It's two checks and balances in the legislative body, and then it ends up from the governor to determine if he wants to go forward or not.
That's correct, and we have many differences of opinion in the House and the Senate. You know, the Senate may think something is a tremendous idea, and you take it down to the House, and the House may not necessarily agree with it. And then we may see a bill that's very good, and the governor may not see it as an important thing, and he'll veto it. And then it's got to come back to us for us to override that veto if we can. So there's a lot of rules that we have to follow. Sometimes if people come down there, it looks like it's helter-skelter and nobody's listening and things aren't being paid attention to, but there are specific rules that we have to abide by, and there's a specific process that we have to go through to pass a law. And if any of those processes are violated, then that law becomes invalid. And so we have people that keep very close track on the process of a bill. There's certain things got to be done, certain things got to be said at certain times. There's got to be a certain number of days between committees and votes, and all that's got to be done. And if it's not done, then the law becomes invalid.
That makes sense. Now let's take it down to Cullman County and you. I've always seen the role of the state legislator, particularly the senator, is being a watchdog of laws and process for the citizens. Am I accurate, or is it a little more than that?
I think there's two different types of senators. You have some senators that like to produce bills, that like to file bills, that like to pass laws, and then there's another group that is more defenders, and they look at the bills that are being passed, they look at the bills that are being introduced, and they decide whether they're good bills or not. And I fall more in the defender category. I don't submit a whole bunch of bills. I submit a reasonable number of bills, but I don't do a tremendous number of bills that I put in. My goal is to watch what's being put in there to make sure that the citizens of Alabama and my district are not being unduly burdened, not being overtaxed, not having regulations that they don't really need. And so that's the majority of my work is looking at bills and figuring out how it's really going to affect the people of Alabama.